A friend of mine recently sent me some of the new QoR watercolors, and we're going to play with those today. Angela Clark from Clark Fine Art recently sent me some of the new QoR colors and a few other colors that she had in her collection that I didn't have in my own. She's super generous. I friggin' love her. Yeah, so we're just going to be playing around with these today. This is not going to be a tutorial or even a full actual review. If you're interested in knowing how I feel about the QoR watercolors, check out the video where I put together my own QoR watercolor palette. That'll be more in-depth about the colors. But I will be talking a little bit about the colors that she sent me, the new colors that just came out from QoR, and which colors I have already put in my cart at Blick, because there's a few of these, as you can probably tell, because this is pretty used right now. There's a few of these colors that I have already put in my cart at Blick because I definitely am going to want them. So let's just jump into it. Okay, so let's take a look at this cute little palette that Angela gave me. Look at these fun little mini pans. I have 21 colors here. As I mentioned, a lot of them are new, but some of them are older colors. And here is the swatch card for the original 19 colors she gave me. She gave me 2 colors later on when we went and painted together. So taking a look at these colors, QoR just recently put out 20 new colors, and I have here 12 of them. The swatches that have stars on them are the new colors that I have. Angela didn't really invest in any of the iridescent or interference colors, and so I didn't have any samples of those, but I am pretty interested in some of the color changing interference colors. I might add those to my Blick cart. But as you can see here, the new colors that I have are the ISO Yellow, Pyrrole Orange, Disazo Scarlet, Ultramarine Pink Dark, Phthalo Blue Red Shade, Naples Yellow Deep, Benzim Midazoline Burnt Orange, Perylene Crimson, Burnt Umber, Payne's Gray Violet, Perylene Violet, and Cadmium Purple. And then the other colors that I have are the Pyrrole Red Light, Phthalo Green, Cobalt Turquoise, Ultramarine Violet, Quinacridone Violet, Cobalt Green, and Ivory Black. And those last colors are just colors that I didn't have that she wanted me to be able to try out, see if I wanted to get more of them. As you can tell, I have these little lines underneath my swatch card, and the lines underneath the colors are indicating colors that I'm really interested in getting. So there are a couple there's a few that are from the new line, and then there's a few that are from the old line. She was also really generous and gave me a couple of other colors that aren't swatched here because she gave them to me at a later date. The Yinmin Blue, which is actually a really rare and expensive color. Like, I cannot believe that she gave me a small pan of that. I'm beyond excited about it. And the Ultramarine Turquoise, which is only available in the Ali Kavanaugh portrait color set. So that's also something that's not just readily available. But that's the colors that we have here. Again, these are separate from the palette that I put together in the past. And these are new to me colors, and some of the colors are new to the line in general. To my knowledge, the colors that she gave me are all very highly light fast. I think they're all between a 1 and a 2, which is really exciting as well. Okay, so let's jump into the project now. Admittedly, this is my second project for this video, and it's probably the third time that I've used these paints because I did bring them with me when me and Angela went down to the coastal Maine Botanical Gardens for plein air days, and we were painting the flowers, and so I tried them a little bit there as well. And right now I am just sketching out a sunflower. This is done from a reference that I took in my own garden. It's actually going to be a square piece. I am working on the Fluid 100 cold press paper. And I am using a Pilot Eno mechanical pencil, which is just a colored mechanical pencil, to put my sketch in. And the middle of this was very detailed. Now let's talk for a second about my first project. I had a lovely little succulent that I drew out using the same paper, using a Pilot Eno, and it was working up just beautifully. The colors were flowing, the inspiration was going, and everything was wonderful until I took a bathroom break. And then when I came back, I forgot to
start recording again. So I got over halfway through, maybe at least halfway through the project, and then the rest of it was not recorded. And so then I was very bummed about that, but I'll pop up some of that footage here. I was bummed. I really do love the way that piece came out, and it is available as prints and on my website for sale. So at this point, you can probably tell that that palette is good and used, and that is why. So let's talk a little bit about the colors. Now, so far, judging between both of these pieces, first of all, we know that QoR watercolors are high quality. They're beautiful. They flow beautifully. They're just a gorgeous, all-around, vibrant watercolor, and I love them so much. And I was really, really enjoying this palette. It's kind of a unique color palette, really, in and of itself, just because the colors, they work like really well together. So it's funny that it worked out that way. The colors that she happened to have on hand that I didn't tended to make a cute little watercolor palette in and of itself. There's a lot of reds and yellows and purples in this, which I love because, I don't know, like sometimes it's hard to find a good purple. And I'm really, really loving these purple colors. And I really was excited to try out the Pyrrole Orange and the Perylene Crimson. Those two colors were colors that I was super stoked about when I first got this palette, and they did not disappoint. Another color that I really, really loved was the Perylene Violet. It's like this just beautiful reddish purple, and right from the moment of swatching that out, I knew that I was going to want to add that. And so, of course, I chose a subject, actually both paintings, I chose a subject that really utilized those colors because I wanted to play around with them and see how much I liked them, and I was not disappointed. I was pretty excited about the Payne's Gray Violet as well. It worked fantastically for this subject to darken things up. Again, this is another one of the new colors. It has that nice warm violet-y kind of tinge to it. So using it in the darker areas was perfect. These colors just worked so well together. They matched up so well together that it just created a nice cohesive piece. So even when I needed to do my shadows and I mixed that color in, it was wonderful in the brown areas and in the red areas. And it honestly didn't hurt too much in any of the green areas, though I didn't have to use a lot of that in this particular piece. Now, the ISO yellow, and I say it that way because I am not going to attempt ISO Indolinone. There's my attempt. That one was probably the most opaque out of the colors that I have. And that actually worked in my favor because there was a few times where, because these colors wash so well and mix so well together, these are a wishy-washy kind of watercolor. They kind of covered up parts of the yellow in the petals that I didn't want to cover up. So I was able to come back in with that yellow later on and put some of that back in there. Now, let's talk a little bit about one of the colors that is just new to me, but is not new to the QoR colors, and that is the Quin Violet. I am definitely going to be picking some of that up. I used a lot of that between these two pieces, and it meshed really well with the Ultramarine Pink Dark and the Perylene Violet. Now, the Ultramarine Pink Dark is a beautiful color, but it's definitely the least opaque. It's one of the least opaques in this palette. That and the Ultramarine Violet. Both of those were not very opaque. So that was where I was like adding in any type of subtlety. They just didn't pop the same way. Still beautiful colors. I definitely want to get some of the Ultramarine Pink Dark for my palette for later on. I used up quite a bit of that, and I also used quite a bit of the Ultramarine Violet as well. That one, again, is one of the older colors, but it's still, you know, beautiful, and I used up quite a bit of that for this piece. Now, one of the colors that she gave me was the Pyrrole Red Light. I'm not going to be getting that. That's not a newer color or anything. I have a color that's very similar in my collection already, so I didn't feel the need to add that to my collection. The Cobalt Turquoise was beautiful, but it was very, very faint, so I decided not to add that to my collection. However, I'm really into that Ultramarine Turquoise that she gave me later on, so I might have to go out and get the Allie Kavanaugh Portrait color set if it's still available. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into that yet, but I might have to go find that set and get it so that I can have my own tube of that color because it's absolutely beautiful. And the Yin Min blue that she gave me, again, is very rare, very expensive. It's beautiful. I'm going to be very sparing about how I use it. I don't think that I will be going out and trying to invest in getting my own tube or anything like that, but I am very excited to have it be part of my collection now, even if it's just one of the mini pans. And I love the way she set up this palette. It's very beautiful. I was able to squish in the 2 new colors off to the side, and I had a lot of fun. I was able to use the tin part for mixing, but I also brought out a mini ceramic palette as well off to the side there. This video, let me tell you, this has been one of those videos that almost didn't happen. As I mentioned, I started a project and I forgot to hit record again midway through it and lost footage because of it, or didn't even have footage because of it. So that was the start of it, right? And then I came back to it. Because of that, I didn't have a video out last week, and I'm struggling to get this video out in time for this week. I don't even know. And then I went up and I recorded my intro and my outro and got that all ready. And because I had forgotten one of my components, I ended up trying to record it with my phone because I didn't have everything I needed in the studio to use my regular camera and my mic and this, that, and the other thing. Just, you know, technical crap that us YouTubers have to go through. So I'm like, you know what? I've used my phone before. It wasn't too bad. Well, this time it was bad. So then the next day I had to go up and re-record it again with my good mic, with my good camera, everything else. And I think we're back on track now, but honestly, it's been kind of a shit show. It's been, and it's been hot here, and that always makes me cranky. And so I'm tired. I am just very, very tired. But I did have a lot of fun with these paintings. Like the paintings themselves, both of them worked up really well. They were relaxing to work on. I was able to put on my favorite music and just chill and play with some beautiful, beautiful watercolors. And so that part of it at least was, you know, great. I just felt like I was under a time crunch, especially once I started to like have to start a second piece just to try and get this video out. So I apologize that I was absent last week other than a short on YouTube, but that is why sometimes technical difficulties happen. And where I also have to work outside of the home, I don't always have time to make up for it. And so I'm back this week. And hopefully you're enjoying this, even though it's not really as maybe concise or as detailed as some of my other videos. But I wanted to play around with these colors and show them to you. But anyways, I had a lot of fun with doing these petals because I was able to let all these different colors kind of mesh together in a nice watery wash. And then I came in with my darker colors for details later. And I do bring in a colored pencil very briefly for some higher highlights that I wasn't able to lift out enough. And yeah, because these want to kind of go everywhere when they hit water, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult for me to reserve my whites ahead of time. So I did bring in a colored pencil, but it was very sparing. And I love this sunflower. This again is based off a sunflower in my garden. I'm definitely going to be buying more of these colors. As I mentioned, I want more of the Diazo Scarlet, the Perylene Crimson, the Cad Purple, the Perylene Violet, the Ultramarine Dark. I liked the brown umber and the burnt orange, but I have a lot of these earthy browns and yellows already in my collection. If you watched my video where I created my own palette, you'll see that. Same with the Naples Yellow Deep and the ISO Yellow. I have a lot of yellows already, so I don't think that I really need to get more. So here is that final piece. I love the way it came out. I love these colors, and I will also be probably looking into some of the like iridescence and interference colors as well. And if I get those, I will show those to you. And here is my other painting that I did first. It looks a little washed out here, But again, it was a great use of all those purples and reds and the green. It's just, I love it. And then you can see here which colors I used a lot of. The Quin Violet I used a lot of, the Ultramarine Pink Dark, and there you can see the Yinmin Blue and the Ultramarine Turquoise. I had pulled those away for a little bit. And yeah, this is my fun little palette. It's messy and crazy, and I want to thank Angela so much for her generosity and sending these to me and giving me a couple extra colors. I've had a lot of fun with them. You'll see me using some of these colors in future pieces.
All right, folks, that's it. That was my fun little project. Well, actually, 2 projects. Let me know which project you liked better. I am still totally bummed that I didn't have the ending footage for the succulent piece. I love that piece so much, but yeah, let me know what project you like better. And also let me know, have you tried any of the new core colors? If so, what are your favorite colors that they have just come out with? Because I'm pretty excited. I'm excited to get some more. Also, feel free to check out my friend Angela's channel below. She's a fantastic watercolor artist, and she does all kinds of videos on a ton of fun art supplies, and I think you'll really like it. So check her out. She's super generous. She's amazing. I am currently working on my watercolor pencil comparison video. It is taking a little while, but I know a lot of you were interested in that video. Just wanted to give you a heads up that it is in the works, and it should be out within a week or 2. So stay tuned for that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week. You have a fantastic day. Bye.